And for the segment, we have in the studio the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wagon constituency, Emmanuel Chemantinge Jako. Good morning to you, Mr. Chemantinge Jako. Okay, he's a Member of Parliament for one notable constituent of his, Yabidu, who roasts plantain on Lagos Avenue in East Legon.
Yeah.
How is Yabidu?
She's very well. She said I should say hello to you. Unfortunately, she doesn't have access to watch you.
The digital, okay.
No, she doesn't.
She needs to have a decoder and all that.
Okay, so so if you find one for her,
I think we have to do that.
Okay.
So that she can work.
Okay.
And
one of these days when I'm coming, I'll come with her.
And the son will be going to senior high school.
Yep.
So we'll be enjoying free senior high school.
Absolutely. she deferred for 1 year.
It will be dependent on his grade.
Okay. So we'll be discussing the subject of senior high school because the Christian Council of Ghana, they've been raising some concerns. Apparently, they say they want some clarity. Will the reports, that is the bill they are getting, be plain, that is free, no bill on it, etc. But helping us do the discussion will also be Neil Lante Vanderpoy. He's a Member of Parliament for the Odododio constituency, one time former Minister of Youth and Sport. Thanks for joining me, Neil.
Thank you.
Great. But let's start off this conversation with the subject of apparently the SNIT scandals and all that has been happening. Now, the latest over the last 12 hours has been that the IT manager of, or IT general manager of SNIT apparently had in his possession, before applying for the job, fake certificates, undergrad, postgraduate, and even doctoral certificates. So we'll see how we have to talk about the subject. And so, Mr. Chemantinge, I'll start with first asking you, what do you first make of the whole brouhaha in the first place?
Well, I think it's a first and foremost, thank you for inviting me. Good morning to you and to my brother.
Good morning to you, sir.
Okay, to my brother, my really and truly my brother Nilante. And to viewers, first and foremost, let me say this, that the matter is under investigation. I think it is the appropriate thing to do, and this, I think that the lawyers will say the way our law is, a man is not guilty until he's proven guilty. But just listening to the issues, you know, Senate wants to do something. I can completely agree. In this day and age, everything we do must be technologically driven. So they will need a software to run their operations. It's in order. I have looked at the tender and all the people that quoted. Somebody, Pesol, a Ghanaian company, quoted 17 million cedis, $4 million, $5 million, and he was passed over. The job was given to those that were in the bracket, one that was in the bracket of $27 million. And today we are told that the $27 million has escalated to $72 million. I have heard the former Director General saying that, well, some of it was out of their control and it was not their fault and that the law changed. Come on. When laws are going to be changed, it does not take 1 day. Is the Director General telling all of us that he was not aware that the law was going to change? Therefore, when he was doing his objects for the tender, he didn't factor that in? How would something escalate twice, almost thrice the cost? And for me, the painful thing is that they are telling us that the thing is still not working. We are hearing murmurings from people who work about all the changes, personal changes that were made. There are allegations. It is an allegation that the man that eventually became the project manager, it is alleged by some workers that he was married to the contractor. These are allegations. But I am telling you, it is so untidy. It is so untidy. Look, if if we continue on this trajectory, very soon the good people of this country will have no faith in democracy. Absolutely no faith. A teacher who teaches for 30 years goes out on a pension of 500 cedis. Then he hears that a software to run the place costs 72 million, multiply that by 4. When really and truly it started at 27. I mean, why are we doing this to ourselves? Recently, I mean, I would want to find out. Central government that has 600,000 employees, that pays salaries, that has to do computation on pensions, that has to do computation on the main, budget is compensation, services, administration and services, and capital expenditure. I am sure that if you go to the Controller and Accountant General, between them and the Ministry of Finance, I do not believe that the software they operate to ensure that the whole finances of this country run costs $20 million. Then a subset of just pensions, they have the temerity to tell us that it costs $72 million and it is still not functional. I mean, come on. I am saying, the position, and you need to find out, Roland. You must go to the Controller and Accountant General. You must go to the Ministry of Finance and find out the software that runs this whole country. And when they have finished, they take some of the money to SNIT as pensions. Find out how much the software and probably the hardware to do all of it costs. SNIT is just it probably is just 1/10 of all those revenues. Roland, go out there. I think you should go out. Ask your producers to go out there and find out how much does it cost to run central government. I think it is scandalous. I think it is scandalous. And this creates a huge problem for the man in the street. You know, it happens under a dispensation, a so-called dispensation of democracy. The people are not deriving any dividend from democracy. This is certainly anti-democracy. Certainly. And it is not good, Roland. It is totally disconcerting. We must not allow these things to happen under a democratic dispensation. We must not allow it to happen.
Your initial comments on the subject, especially having followed the discussion so far right through now.
Well, thank you very much, Roland. Let me also take the opportunity of saying good morning to my senior brother and colleague in Parliament, and to your viewers, as well as the very good people of Odododio constituency.
Oh, you reminded me. Let me say good morning to my constituent. Otherwise, you beat me at it.
I've listened to various discussions on the issue. I've read excerpts of responses from people who were involved with the stakeholders, the directors, the management people. And what I can say is that until the investigations come to a conclusion, we will not really be able to have a real facts of the matter on the ground. On the face value of it, everybody will be disconcerted with what is being reported. But until we have proven facts and figures to say it, it will not really make up for a cohesive argument. But whatever it is, if a contract which was meant to be 34 million should balloon to 72 million, it's a cause of worry for everyone. Two, I'm not too sure about the fact that the system is not working. I'm not too sure about that. People are saying it, but they themselves have not come out to say that system is not working.
Well, we've had the general manager, the director general of SNIT, come on the pulse on this channel.
Yeah, but then
say that the system
former
is
Director
partly malfunctional, and that even if they have to call the service providers to come and fix it, they have to pay them per the agreements they have with them.
Yeah, let me say this. An infrastructure like that one definitely will entail a lot of fun, because the data that is going to hold is huge. You're talking about a data system, a suite that is holding the data of all SNIT contributions, pensioners, and the rest. So it's a huge thing. I believe, like my brother said, my brother talked about the Controller and Accountant General. They are only working with people who are currently employed in the public service and the civil service. But SNIT, we are talking about people who are employed and those who have left years and years and are still on pension. So it's a huge data bank. So definitely, those two infrastructures will not be the same. But difficulty I have is that whatever it is, I think what SNIT has not done well is to have a comprehensive and a much more cohesive response to whatever has happened. The speculation is just too much, and individuals' reputation are on the line. Look at what has happened to their general manager IT, for example. It has led to suspicion about his qualification. Yoko has invited him, that he has fake certificates and all those things. I was asking that somebody who has been employed by a whole SNIT. SNIT is not just an institution. It's a whole, it's bigger than ordinary institutions in this country. And I believe that they will have done due diligence before recruiting such a person. And according to a Joy report, he was recruited because of his impeccable qualification. 2, he has worked at various places, GMPC, MPA, MTN, Simnet, Dominion University, Action Chapel, huge institutions. And I want to believe that all these institutions may have done some due diligence before recruiting him. That aside, it raises other issues. What is the recruitment profile of SNIT? How did they do their recruitment and all these things? That means if the disclosures of Yoko is anything to go by, I'm wondering when this investigation will come to a close, so that we will all have the facts and be able to talk to it. For now, on the face value, anybody will condemn this, will say it is not right, it was not done properly. But I trust the individuals there. I can vouch for their reputation, talking about former directors, former board chairmen like Kwampe Pra, Joshua Labi, and of course, former director generals like Ernest Thompson, and even the one preceding him. I forgot his name. He's quite a good man. We used to attend the same church together. And these are people who have proven qualities. So I will not be tempted to condemn them without listening to them and without having the facts. I think if there is anything, they should be able to explain to us how that figure mushroomed from 34 to 72 within the 4 years. They should be able to tell us. And when they tell us they are as convincing, then we should be able to, could we have avoided this escalated increase? Could we have done something different so that we can save something for the purse? I'm hopeful that we shall come to a fitting conclusion that will let people disabuse their minds of what the fear of my senior brother, because it's true. It's true. If these things are happening within a period like this, then the confidence of the people in our institutions become a bit difficult, because SNIT is holding the pensions of people, and some of the people are not happy about the pensions they are receiving. And so if the SNIT that is holding their pensions will be using money in this manner, then the people their confidence in the institution will be eroded, and I think we have to look at it.
Mr. Chamante, now we're told that that the SNIT's head of management information system, so it's said to be a manager, general manager, now has been interdicted by the body, has been invited by Yoko to have further investigations on the documentation as far as his qualifications are for which he used in applying for the job. Does that also question mainly perhaps the decisions that were taken leading to where we are currently?
Well, I think that it probably is only an index, an indication of some of the things that may have gone on. I placed a caveat when I spoke that it is under investigation, but we are only commenting on what is in the public domain. Similarly, I hear that Yoko has, the Senate has interdicted him based on, and Yoko has invited Dr. Caleb Kweku Afaglo. Okay. I am hearing, we are hearing in the news that his bachelor's degree is fake, his master's degree is fake, and his PhD degree is fake. These are things you can verify. I come before all of you and say that I have a degree, I have a GCE O-level certificate from Prempeh College. It's verifiable. I have a GCE A-level certificate from Presec. Verifiable. I have a
all those small schools. All those small schools.
Okay, so
compared
to Vanston.
Yes.
Okay. But we have been beating you.
Oh, but it's the bad boys of Vanston who were used to set up Prempeh College.
It doesn't matter. The bad boys have become.
When I say it, Atuahua is not happy.
So
you are saying it's verifiable?
All these things are verifiable. You have a BSc degree in whatever, it is verifiable. You have an MSc, it is verifiable. You have a PhD, I hear he says he went to Kennedy, something.
Went to the University of Cincinnati.
Huh? Verifiable.
He went to a school that is affiliated to the University of Cincinnati. But we're told the school has since closed down.
Yes.
But he graduated in 2007. It's possible for schools to close down. I mean.
He graduated in 2007. The school closed down in 2011.
Yes.
Verifiable. You see, if I'm sure that maybe the degree must have been awarded by University of Cincinnati. It happens.
Yes,
let's
the
just go
PhD,
out there and verify.
Yeah.
You know, but assuming like they are placing in the newspaper that the man's degrees are fake. It is disconcerting again, completely disconcerting. I am saying that now if you go, there are some concerned workers, and there will always be concerned people. They are giving a litany of woes. How some man, Drassa or something, who used to be the boss, was transferred to Obuasi to go and do archives and placed under somebody who was ahead of him. And another person was moved, and another man called, I think, Nimo, was brought to be the project manager. I am saying here that all of these are allegations, and that the Nimo was married to the person, the contractor. All of these things, you know, the things the Bible talks about, the things that are done in secret will be broadcasted on the rooftops. You understand? So it is early days yet, but all these snippets gives a very, very, very bad odor. The optics are not right. The sense that emanates from all of this is not good.
You see the way scientists is talking.
I hope
optics, the other.
I really and truly hope that at the end of, you see, what worries me is that we must not push the people of this country to say,
but you are making them is government of the
yeah, it is democracy that me and him will say we are practicing.
Okay.
The good people must begin to enjoy the dividend of democracy, transparency, openness, accountability. But if in the era of democracy, something that must cost, that was originally signed for 27 million, ends up reverse, 27 million becomes 72 million.
I thought you said 34.
No, I think
The
original
initial
contract
cost was 27, went to 34, then went to, in the bid, it was 27. But then, by the time they give the other job and started, and then complete was 34. Then by the time of last year, wrapped up to 72.
That's why I'm thinking that the initial contract, what does it entail? How did it, mushroom to 34?
I've looked at the agreement. I've looked at the agreement. It's very voluminous. But at the end of the day, I think inherent in there is the fact that whatever additions that have been made, and we know that IT solutions are always evolving because they were supposed to have they had a lot of paper data that were supposed to have been
transferred,
put onto an electronic data. And after doing that, they needed more expansion of the whole program. So at the end of the day, inherent in the agreement was the fact that whatever additions that were made were not part of the initial cost component. So they had to add it up. They have to add up. And then if there was any default, apart from the initial warranty period or the years of normal where a contractor will come and do their annual repairs and all that, they added the cost to the contract, to the initial sum. And that's where we are currently. So it's a build-up cost. That's not the initial cost of the contract. So you wanted to make an input.
Roland, I am just wondering, if you are going to do such a huge and important contract, I think that ordinarily you will get the best experts to set out very clearly in the tender document what the requirements are.
And what do we
well, they are. SNIT has been involved in a lot of tender and expression of interest activity. So the way, if you look at...
So how come in this case, between the time the contracts, the bids were open and somebody selected, and before the contract, how come the thing ballooned? So are we saying that SNIT didn't recognize all of these things? Look, at the end of the day, anybody who participated in the tender can go to court and say that you shortchanged us. Okay. It's a very murky situation, I tell you. It's an extremely murky situation.
Okay.
And when you do this, then it begins to call into question the capacity of the management staff and even the supervisory board. It is unfortunate.
I was going through social media the whole of yesterday, and I seem to have gotten the concern of some, I don't know whether you're neutrals or not, but the other side of the debate is the fact that we seem to be prejudging, especially using the media and the public
that's what I'm talking
because
about.
We have, apart from Yoko, an auditing firm that is supposed to investigate. Well, we've had a board chairman who comes to undertake a press conference and said, we suspect this and this may have gone wrong. But at the end of the day, when you put this out, you're giving it, you're leaving...
You're prejudging.
Yeah, you're giving the meat to the wolves to feast on. And at the end of the day, we're making all sorts of comments on, for example, we have somebody's reputation. It could be, if the thing doesn't turn out that his certificates are fake, then we may have run down somebody's... and we have a number of things that we need to do or may not be doing right. What do you think?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You see, we are living in a very dangerous period where social media is making people form opinions and make judgments on issues based on sentiments and emotions. And as such, when you throw things like that out, immediately what you do is that you set people on a particular tangent. And it makes it difficult for people to really make factual deductions. People just draw conclusions, hasty, fallacious ones, and just, criminalize and crucify people. And I'm thinking that for institutions like SNIT, their reputation is key. And because of that, I was expecting that in situations like this, they would take their time, make sure that whatever they are bringing out is factual. Make sure that we hold this investigation we concluded. I think nothing stops it from letting the police or the Yoko people do a factual investigation, come to conclusions before making this thing public. Making it public now and getting people to prejudge some of the outcomes of this. Because if board chairs of auditing companies themselves are coming out without finalizing their auditing report and bring it for conclusions to be drawn, because even when you finish with your auditing report, you have to write to the person for the person to respond to it before you draw conclusions. And so the whole thing is becoming a platform for people to prejudge and to draw conclusions before the facts are really put on the floor. And I think that it's dangerous for us. This is not the only situation. There are so many things that are happening now that if we are not careful and we exercise that restraint needed to make sure that whatever we are putting out there is the conclusions that can be derived from all the analysis we've made, we'll be crucifying people, we'll be throwing people away, and we'll be killing people's future before their death. And that is something that I'm scared of, the way it's going. Because, look, social media platform, it's amazing what is happening there. It's amazing. And like you said, these guys have families. Assuming it comes out that all this talk about fake certificate is not true, what have we done to Afaglo? A very good IT brain. Assuming. What happens to his children? I remember very well, and when I say this, people, one day there was a publication that me have chopped some money. My son came back from school and said, Daddy, is it true that you're a thief? Asking me, my young boy, 6-year-old boy. I said, why? I said, one of my mates said, they were saying it, that you stolen some money meant for the women, the women footballers, that have stolen the money. I said, how?
You were a sports minister?
Yes.
Okay.
I said, where did you get this from? I said, the small girl said she saw it on the internet. Because now 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds are surfing. And they're looking out for things. I was surprised. My child came home and said he's been given a research to do. Class 5. Research. You understand? So they go to the internet and they look out for things. And these things happen. So I'm saying we should be careful. Other than that, we'll be destroying people when we are not really supposed to do so. This Senate thing is good. I will be happy if everything comes out. I'm a Senate contributor, and I want to make sure that my contributions are safe and secured.
Okay, we have to move on to the subject of free SHS, but I wanted to ask you, we only tend to hear this when there's a change of government, all sorts of things. So post-2000, we had post-2008, and then now post-2016, we're hearing all this. Why does it always have to be that routine?
I don't know. Maybe people tend to protect their own, maybe. But, you know, he's making a point about dented images and integrity. It happens every time, you know. But the Chiefs have a saying that if they are not following you, if you are not the one that is being hooted at.
Like it happened to you when you...
Oh, come
2009.
on. Come on. What did they say about me?
At food and drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about.
Going forward, we must all learn to be very precise. We must... the issues of, like Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings always says, issues of openness and integrity and accountability and probity must be taken seriously. I mean, I don't believe that they are just words. They are a bedrock.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. There are other people who headed organizations. Have we heard anything about them? No. There are other NDC functionaries
so you're
who
saying
headed
that
organizations.
At the end of Boni Nimayenka?
No.
Yes, to some extent. But I mind this thing is that before we come out with set things, with institutions, that we must not look at the individual, we must look at the institution. The integrity and the credibility of that institution is very paramount.
Because of the institution, we should
yes. No, I'm saying that before we come out with things about such institutions, we must be sure that those things are conclusive arguments that people will not be able to doubt. Because if we don't do that, repairing the image of those institutions will also be at a cost to the country. For example, if somebody should call the governor of the Bank of Ghana a thief.
Well, it hasn't happened, so that's the thing. The Christian Council of Ghana has called on government to engage stakeholders on their roles in the implementation of the free senior high school policy. We had in the studio Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong, who is the General Secretary for the Christian Council of Ghana. But we also wanted to move on, move the subject further, have the input of the Ministry of Education. So we have Mr. Plaha. Otto Plaha is the Public Relations Manager for the Education Ministry. Good morning to you, Mr. Plaha.
Good morning, Roland.
Okay.
And good morning to Reverend in the studio.
No, Reverend came the latter part of yesterday, or the early part of yesterday, really. So we're just discussing it as panelists on the segment. But what the Christian Council is saying, have you been able to engage them, and what really do they want or mean by that?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished listener. Before this program, we have had stakeholder engagement with a lot of our people involved in education. We've met with various directors of education. We've met with NGOs in education. We've also met with some of the religious groups. As we speak now, the minister will be meeting with some DCEs in the Brongahafo region.
Mr. Plaha.
Hello?
Have you put us on speaker?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Your sound was just muffling, that's why.
Yeah, probably where I am, the locality.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had stakeholder engagements with people in the Ashanti region as well. I can't tell for sure what Reverend Lupone wants the ministry to do, but I think engagements are still ongoing. And
well, Mr. Plaha, I think I still have some feedback from the sound, and we'll have to call you back. We'll call you back right now so that we'll have an input on this. And so this is what the Christian Council is saying. The Christian Council of Ghana has called on government to engage stakeholders on their roles on the implementation of the free SHS policy. The council said the implementation of the policy must be a collective responsibility of all stakeholders instead of leaving it on the shoulders of government. It continues by saying government has been very consistent and has sustained its pledge by implementing the policy, which is commendable. However, it's uncertain at the moment what the roles they will be playing. Because of the useful role the stakeholders have played, they were able to demand accountability from the managers of the schools in ensuring quality education in Ghana. Mr. Plaha, you are back?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Okay. So now the Christian Council of Ghana, you are saying that you did some stakeholder engagements before the implementation.
Yes, we've done a lot. We've done several stakeholder engagements, some in Accra, some in Kumasi. As we speak now, one is being held in the Sunyani. Various groups have been consulted, various teacher unions, some NGOs in education. We've involved some of the religious bodies. I can't say for sure where Mr. Reverend Lupone is coming from or what he wants, because the doors of the ministry are still open. They are even right up in print media, which the minister has noted and then responded to whenever we had some of these stakeholder engagement. To ask stakeholders themselves, if there are certain issues they find relevant, I think we can let the ministry know so that we iron out those rough edges.
Okay. For instance, and this is not only about what the Christian Council is saying, I think many parents too, and I have a guardian, I'm a guardian to somebody in school. So I would want to know, for example, according to the council, PTAs, they undertake a number of projects, but they bill parents. Okay, so let's take Infantipim School, Prempeh College, or Achimota, or Bishop Herman, or Anglogan, or wherever, or even here in Accra, we're talking about Accra Academy and Presec, etc. Those big schools, the ones you grade as first-class schools. The parents take cognizance and the interest of the education of their wards very serious. So sometimes they complement the efforts of the school in providing facilities or infrastructure. Now, government is saying this is free SHS, so there should be no bill. It should be plain paper, so no bill for you. Is that what is going to happen? So what happens also to the infrastructure and the billing that needs to be handed over to the parent for them to continue the infrastructure development for the schools?
Well, you know, those are projects various old boys and old girls who want to support their schools with. Government itself will be building more infrastructure. So the doors are not closed on all those things.
Okay, so it will mean that there could be some parents who will be having bills, but they will not be the sort of bills that is linked to, is it academic usership or whatever. Please explain that.
There will be no bills at all. You know, fees paid are those agreed on by the GES Council, the PTAs, and the ministry. So definitely every fee will be taken up by government.
So what if I'm giving a bill, let's say for Infantipim for my ward? What happens?
I can't see where that bill will be coming from.
No, to build a computer lab, to build a biogas, for example.
Come again?
If the school wants to, the PTA, they've promised that they want to build a student so that they build a computer lab, for example, or even build a biogas facility, or even build a football pitch. And so that's a bill that will be going to the parents.
Yeah, you know, government has taken almost all the PTA dues. Whatever, those are voluntary contributions which parents are made to pay. So it's not everybody who can afford that. That's why government is taking that over. But if they decide they will want to do it, whichever parent will be willing to pay it, government cannot stop that from happening because they are voluntary contributions.
Okay, but we also have schools, the mission schools. So those ones are under the Education Ministry. That's the case, right?
Come again.
The mission schools are under the Education Ministry, or
yes,
they are under the Ghana Education Service.
Yeah, they are under the Ghana Education Service.
But what roles will the churches be playing? Since, well, those schools initially they started are now being serviced with a free SHS policy.
Yes, you know, some time back, government had wanted to hand over, or rather the churches, the religious organizations were calling on government to get that school back to them. You know, under the free SHS, government will still take everything up. But if there are other discussions they will want to engage government on, the doors of government are open for them to come up with what suggestions they think will help move the schools forward.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Otto Plaha and is a PRO for the Ministry of Education. Now, Mr. Chamantine Jaku, let's look at this. Is it a bit different from what it should be? Are the churches perhaps getting it wrong, or those under the Christian Council of Ghana, or do they feel that there's just an apprehension that could easily be assuaged with deeper consultations?
First and foremost, I think that the education in this Ghana has, or I should rather put it this way, the contribution of the faith-based organizations to education in this Ghana is enormous. And if the history is ever written, what they have done should be written in gold. I mean, today, talk about any school you want, Prempeh College. After that, Infanspem, St. Augustine's, at the Saddle, Wesley Girls, the St. Louis's. In the north, they have some fantastic St. Francis in Japan, Francis Xavier. And then there's even a girls' school. I think it's also called St. Francis. Very good school, I hear. Extremely good school. So they have been at the forefront of all of us getting educated.
Did you mention the school? Somebody will screw me if I don't talk about it.
Oh, he did.
National. I just want to go
where? Ghana National.
When I get back home, I'll have problems.
Oh no, I am talking about schools from the faith-based organization.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So So justifiably, if there are going to be a major change or realignment of how things go, I think that they are a major stakeholder in this, and they are deserving of a hearing. I mean, if I don't know exactly what Reverend Dr. Ofune Primpong came to say here, but if they are raising
all that he
concerns,
said was what was in the statement. He said we should not assume any role for any stakeholder. There must be proper engagement with clear-cut roles.
Okay, so I think that they feel that they have not been consulted or spoken to adequately. For me, my position is that it is not too late. I believe that the Ministry of Education with the Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, is hearing, or he will be told. It won't take anything away from the process if like the Bible says, Selah, pause and think through it. They can be engaged because their contribution has been enormous. Okay, recently, you remember when His Excellency the President met the EP, was at the EP conference, he acknowledged the contribution of the Presbyterians in raising the youth with discipline and all of this. Okay, so I think it is okay. I really and truly think it is fine.
It's in order.
They should ask for some clarity. The fact is that as for free SHS, in another 3 weeks,
it is coming off.
The train will have arrived at the station. It is coming, like Kakai. It is coming. No 2 weeks. In another 3 weeks, when schools reopen,
sharp. First year
was open. My nephew, Yabedu Sang. I said we defend. Yeah, he is going to go.
Sharp.
You understand me?
That is if you get the right qualification.
Oh, he
no,
has.
You see,
he's passed already.
That argument
is going to be placed.
It's not even here, or it's neither here nor there. Look.
But the minister said if you don't have the right qualification.
BEC, is it not a creature of statute?
Yes.
There is statute institute. There is a law. What we have said is that ultimately we are going to take away BECE. So, yes. So that you will go, as you go from class 1 to class 6, you will go from class 6 to JHS 3, and you automatically progress.
It's not possible.
No, so you don't want any exam. You don't want
the major exam. The exam that counts will be the secondary school exam.
There won't be any JHS.
There will be JHS.
BEC examination. No BEC.
There will not be. They want to take off.
No, we will take off BEC.
How do you assess people before they?
But how were people
assessed from class 6 to JHS?
No.
How were people assessed from class 6 to JHS?
We have basic and secondary. Before you move from basic to secondary, in all jurisdictions, there is an assessment.
Look. I think
everywhere in the world, we are not an island.
Yes. You are not hearing as well.
How are we hearing?
What His Excellency the President is saying is that we are going to redefine what basic education is. Basic education will terminate with SSS. Oh, yes.
So there will not be JSS.
So how you are not even hearing us, honorable member. So when we are doing all the things, you are not even
listening. Now we're hearing you. Now let me ask. So how will people be given entry into secondary school? How will my son who goes to Queen's Court be able to gain the admission that he wants to Infanticum?
I am not privy to those arrangements. But what we are saying,
looks murky.
It doesn't look murky. How do people progress from class 6 to JHS?
They write end of terms.
Yeah, but everybody writes an end of term.
But why should you write end of term? So how would you determine from one school to the other?
That one, I am not privy to it. But what we are saying...
Or we're going to try something like a common entrance?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure.
What
I am saying...
So that when you don't pass, at least you can have a year and rewrite
or something.
Stay in the school.
But what we are saying is that BEC, that has become a terminal... Today, it is a terminal exam.
Because people's education are cut off because of that.
We are saying that it must not become a terminal exam. Basic education terminates at senior secondary school.
I think it makes sense.
It is instructive.
So it means everybody will have access.
Yes, it is instructive. Now, there may be a limiting factor because of BEC. Okay. People want to be mischievous about it. But we are saying that hurdle, we are going to remove it. Everybody, every Ghanaian living everywhere must have access. And that
Eagle.
I don't know why I'm surprised that the honorable member who has been a minister before is saying that he's not aware.
We are not even discussing.
We are
this.
saying
as a policy, it's not come for public discussion. So
no, I think that I've been hearing the last couple of
days. It's only been talked about. It's not. It's a policy anticipation.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. It's a concept they are developing. It has not come
now
for discussion.
Now we're debating it.
No, we are
so
that's not a
please empathize with it and discuss it.
The whole thing we have always said is that we are redefining what basic education is. Okay. Like in many jurisdictions, basic education terminates at senior secondary school. That is basic education. Okay. So going forward, but you see, I have heard arguments, and that's this computer placement, and people didn't pass. Look, I am reliably informed, and you can call Mr. Otoplaha and ask. He will give you the exact details. I am reliably informed that even after computer placements, for instance, last year, there were about 120,000 people that were placed by the computer and did not go to school. That's because true. there was a constraint of finance. Okay. I hear, again, I stand for correction. Out of this total figure that did not go, 8% came from the northern schools. You know, in those places, you don't pay fees already.
Scholarship.
There's a scholarship.
There's supposed to be an entry scholarship.
Even when there is a scholarship, there is still a challenge.
Why?
Oh, but when you have to go to school, you have to buy a trunk and a job box.
So there are still impediments.
They are still, look,
even though it's supposed to be free.
Saying, so this thing about SHS, you have no idea what it will do to people.
Mr. Chamanti,
I can tell you, Roland, there may still be a certain percentage who will not go because they might not find the money for the trunk and chobox. You understand me? But at least that will become the only consideration. You have removed the consideration of another 470 cedis from school fees. So for me, this is not the topic for discussion. But what I'm saying is that
no, it's the topic.
I think that the thing about SHS is it's like when President Kufuor wanted to do a national health insurance. It will probably stand out as the most important social intervention that has come up in this country. Of course, I am honest to admit that when Kwame Nkrumah decided that everybody should go to primary school, when he defined basic education as up to middle school living certificate, okay, and decided that every Ghanaian child must have basic education, there were challenges. I mean, we are not sitting here today and saying that in the rollout there may not be challenges. When Kwame Nkrumah decided that every Ghanaian child must go to school, that is when they started the streams, morning stream and afternoon stream, because there was not enough.
I'm just worried. In 5 years, my child is supposed to be in Ethnocentric, so I'm worried.
Why? What are you worried about?
About the transition. I want to know how he'll be engaged. He'll be assessed.
You like Ethnocentric?
Why didn't you? I want to know.
I would rather advise you to let him go to primary college.
No problem.
But don't you see? In the last
take the
last 10 years.
Take the last 10 years. A sitting head of
brilliant
a sitting head of state applies to be an honorary old boy.
Who? Which one?
Kutua Champo.
Ah, okay. I didn't know this.
Kutua went to Swedro or something.
I said he applied to be an honorary old
business
boy.
College or something.
Okay,
or technical or something. Anyway,
he went to a key school.
But at the end of the day, we have to bring something. Are the churches just struggling for some relevance or something?
Roland, let me say this.
Because, for example, in Infantipim school, I know old boys were able to put in place a biogas system and all that. They even have dormitories with air conditions. You know.
Really?
Oh yeah. Hey, the dormitories with air conditions they have.
Oh really?
Oh really? Yes.
I didn't know this.
So it means that it's not borne by Ghana Education Service.
Yeah.
I mean, the Parent Teacher Association is huge. They dictate that we want our children to benefit this. So at the end of the term, you give us this bill, the beginning will go and pay. Now, government also says that free SHS, but you're going to have some bills.
Yeah. Roland, let me say this. I am all for missionary schools because I have benefited from missionary schools. I had Presbyterian training and I had Methodist training. And the two training really shaped me. And so I think that all said and done, I would not really argue for a wholesale recession of interest to the missionary institutions. I think the collaboration between government and the missions should continue, because it will. If we do that, what the missionaries, let me say, the religious organizations are aiming at, is to change their brand, make the schools become like the ones we have today, like Tema International.
Is that what they want to do?
That I'm telling you, people have begun to see that there is so much money in education. People are seeing education as a commercial enterprise, and so people are arguing for the opportunity to also commercialize this and also make money.
You think that's where we're going?
I know institutions which used to have dormitories, but now they've turned the dormitories into hostels, and their students are paying money, so they are making more money.
Universities?
Yes. So I'm saying that what I'm saying at the long run could also be detrimental to the ordinary Ghanaian out there who have to pay money to get education for his or her ward. Because once you turn these schools back to them, and they decide that we are reforming the school, this is the way we want to run the school, there's nothing you can do about it. So, seriously speaking, I am for a continuous and a sustainable program that will make the missionary institutions, the religious institutions, will collaborate with government in order to give affordable education to the people.
Well, we have to move. The minority.
Can I just comment? You know, I don't know what's are the churches. Is it an attempt? I don't know. It's just speculative.
They said they want to have. What role should they play?
Well, I don't know.
But
whether
I think the issue has to do with consultation.
Or they've been consulted.
No, but they are saying they haven't. They said you should not assume for them. What it means is that people are not giving them enough and adequate opportunity to contribute to the discussions. Yes.
It's okay. I think we must make a clear distinction between what government is doing. Sometimes I've heard some people say that the mission schools should be reverted to the mission. Yeah, to the mission.
It's more because of the discipline, the quality.
That is an argument for another day, really.
Yes,
I mean, that
so
must be an argument for.
argue.
But let us focus on what is at stake now. Is that come 3 weeks,
We'll be free as it is.
there will be free exit.
It's good for all of us.
Oh, Mr. Chiramateja, you're mischievous.
Progressive.
Anyway,
it's progressive.
It is not progressive.
It's progressive.
It is not
It's
progressive.
progressive because it's not everybody who is benefiting from
NDC
it.
says it's progressive. MPP says it's free. So 3 weeks time.
No, it's not free.
Okay.
We are talking about.
There was a statement that was issued by the minority.
I wish I knew how to say this in English. Again, the elders in the Akan language, they say that you shouldn't. Don't bring your. But why is spoiling your money here?
Your sports.
You know, when you say that, they say that we too
You are
give free
infected.
SHS.
You are infected. You are infected.
Whether you like it
Don't
or
worry.
whether you like it or it's progressive because it's not every child who is going
I
to
say,
benefit. It's not every child who is going to benefit.
free SHS is here.
Every child in first year.
What
enough.
about the second year?
Oh, no, we're not
Are they
arguing
not
about
students?
that, please. The minority in parliament says that Deputy Agriculture Minister William Kwetu demonstrated ingratitude to people of Northern extraction by suggesting they are difficult people. And the minority leader, Harry Naidrusu, issued a statement. It says Mr. Kwetu's comment amounted to subjecting the people of the North to such profound levels of insult, ridicule. Okay, I didn't say this one. Indignity.
Yes, what it means is that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a difficult person. Simple. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a difficult person. The ministers in government from the North, including my very good friend Mustafa Hamid, is a difficult person. Simple. It's unfortunate. The deputy.
You know the gentleman, don't you?
I know him. He's a very nice guy in Parliament.
Yeah, he's been here a couple of times.
He's a very nice guy. I don't know what.
to work with Coco
I don't know
as a
what
consultant.
really is a good agriculturist.
Yeah, he used to work
is
Cocoa as a
very
consultant.
qualified,
Yeah.
very qualified agriculturist. And I don't know what really, I don't know the frustrations that came up, but it has to do with the fall armyworms, you know. But I think that the minister himself has not helped the whole situation. The minister was in parliament and virtually said that the armyworms have been defeated. If you listen to the Faculty of Agriculture people from the University of Cape Coast, they've said that from May up to today, the cases have risen from 1,200 something to 116,000. So the issue has to do with the people not being factual. And I think when he was pressed, the frustration pushed him beyond limit and he made that distance. But the people who are experiencing the thing definitely will feel it. But Mali says he would, what? He who wears it feels it more. So when they are saying it, what I expect the minister to do is to empathize with them, look at the frustration they are going through and say, look, we will do something about it. Instead of saying they are difficult people, because they are suffering.
But the minister has apologized, hasn't he?
Yes, I agree. That
shouldn't that be the end of the matter?
Oh, seriously, for me, I would say that's the end of it. He has apologized.
Well, we've had your minority
so let's go ahead. But you see, it depends on the intent of the apology and how the apology was rendered. You understand? That also makes people form conclusions about whether you really mean what you have said or you are saying it because of the pressure and the sort of reaction that have come from people. This morning, I heard that the thing is assuming a proportion that I am not comfortable with. I've heard that the chiefs in the northern region are meeting over this issue.
Really?
Oh, yes. This morning on JoyNews, I heard it. And I also think that the former campaign manager of the former chairman of the party did not also help. Because in the news report...
Please wait. Who's campaign manager?
MPP.
Of who?
Mr. McMenu, Peter McMenu.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you see, if you say that, oh, he has apologized and that should suffice, you don't dismiss things like that. You know, when it comes to this, all of us, what we must do is that all of us who have seen this as a faux pas should come together, concerted effort, and try and minimize the tension that it will generate by appealing to the sentiments of the people that this is unfortunate, he didn't mean to say this and all this. But when you come out to dismiss it, oh, he has apologized, so it's enough, it doesn't really make the people happy. It's unfortunate, and I did not expect him to say that. I don't know what pushed him to say, but I could see that is a frustration of this whole armyworm thing, fall armyworm thing, that has made it. But I want him to do further rapprochement with the people and try and let them understand that he didn't mean to denigrate them, he didn't mean to insult them, he didn't mean to really portray them as what he said. And that will flow from his subsequent reactions to sentiments that will be expressed, especially for the statement that the minority has made. Because the minority, you should know, come from the north. So it is his parents, his family, and people who have been touched. And he will definitely express sentiments like that.
He's a very cool man. He's not giddy like you and Mr. Chamantin Jaco. He's very cool. But
Uncle, this guy has really... No, it's okay. You know, he must also apologize for
I apologize. But your comment, then we'll wrap up.
The man is between the rock and a hard place.
The Cat-22 situation.
Yeah, very, very, very.
A chicken and egg situation.
Very, very difficult situation. I find my honorable colleague for member.
Marcelo, let me ask you: did he say it directly on radio or somebody recorded?
I think he said it on radio.
He said it in an interview.
Direct interview.
In an interview.
That is serious.
You see,
I thought that he was
this fall army worm thing. This fall, it's not. Yes, I had the opportunity to speak to a very senior person in FAO who is just saying that, look, this thing, and he was chasing how it has even landed here in Africa. It is native to Southern America, but it first landed at I think Equatorial Guinea, and today it is here. He told me that the thing will not finish. So they have drawn up a 5-year plan to contain. You don't eradicate. You can only contain it.
It's an invasion. And I hear they feast overnight. So by the time you wake up,
and he was
talking
this weekend I met this very he's retired as a director in FAO, you know. But the point is, I think that the man got irritated, and out of that irritation said things that definitely was overboard. For me, I think the most graceful thing he has done is that he has apologized.
The minority says he needs to resign.
Unqualified.
He needs to resign, or the president needs to
He has
boot him
rendered
out.
an unqualified apology. I think that the sages say that to err is human and to forgive is divine. I hope and pray that the good people who feel hurt by the expressions of our honorable colleague, like you say, he's not like me, and I agree.
Because
he's very passive, he's very quiet, he's very laid back.
Because you talk with a lot of vociferation. But of course the words are contained.
No, but sometimes people like us that you see that are very distant, we are
very guarded. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That you talk with a lot of force.
Yeah. So when you irritate me, I am like that every day. But somebody like when you irritate him small, then it gets out. I am only hoping that the good people who feel offended by what he has said after he has apologized will find it in their hearts to forgive him.
Okay.
As to whether he should resign, he should be sacked, and all of this,
but I
let's leave it. Let's leave it.
It should be a lesson for all of us politicians and those who hold public office.
Yeah.
To be very careful.
I think that's why we have to commend the NDC. Now they have an ideological institute, so we teach them public speaking and all that.
Oh yes. I'm going to be one of the lecturers there.
No comment from Mr. Emmanuel Chematingeja.
No useful thing to add.
And Honorable Chematingeja, who is a member of Parliament for Iwasu West Wagon constituency. Thanks for joining me.
I'm happy that you invited me.
Okay. And then also,
are you speaking our language?
Yes.
I'm a bit of.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, I have Nilante van der Poy, who is a member of Parliament for the Ododo Diodio constituency. Thanks for joining me, Van.
Thank you.
My boss.